If you would like 5 expert tips on teaching abroad, raise those hands. Only me again. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Work Life News with Bobby. And I'm really excited about this video because, number one, it will be short. Woohoo! And number two, I just want to share some insights for those of you who are interested in working abroad, teaching abroad, how to manage classrooms. And I think they're quite interesting. So are you ready then? Let's start. Let's get into it. Number one. First of all, if you go abroad, in any job, in any career, number one, you have to be adaptable. And what does that mean? You must know and you have to realize things work differently when you are abroad. So you can't expect everything to be the same as it was back home for you. So you have to be open-minded in that regard. Now, on my first day in Korea, my first job day, I had no idea what I was doing. I received no training. I was just informed, right, we're going to pick you up at 9 a.m. in the morning and we're going to drive you to a kindergarten. No idea what that meant, what I was doing or anything. So my boss picked me up. He drove me to a kindergarten. And then I was informed that their teacher from England had left 2 weeks prior. So they hadn't had a teacher for 2 weeks. So they were combining classes so that the children weren't missing out on any educational time. And I had 56-year-olds in the classroom, had no idea what I was doing. I was given 6 flashcards of animals, a dog, a cow, a pig, a sheep, a horse, and a chicken, I think. And that was it. It's like, right, Bobby, teach the class. And it was a real sink or swim environment. Sweat was dripping from me. And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell do I do here? So I just got the flashcard and I'm going, cat, meow, meow. And all the children were meowing. And then I was figuring out, okay, I put these flashcards in different places and make the students run to the board, hop to the board, jump to the board, turn around to the board, run to the board. I was figuring it out as I was going. I had no idea. It was the longest 40 minutes in my life. But do you know what? It was fine. After they're saying, oh, Bobby, great. The students loved that. My first ever class, no idea what the hell I was doing. And then another example. So my first owner, we had such funny conversations because he couldn't speak English. I couldn't speak Korean. And his English name was James. And he always calls me Robert, like, Robert. And our conversation was literally this: Robert, James, Robert, James. And we somehow communicated through our names. And one day he picked me up. Again, I had no idea what was happening. He had a big smile on his face. And he said, Robert, special day. I'm like, oh no, what the hell does special day mean? And he's driving me somewhere. And suddenly I get all these flashcards again. And he's like, Robert, special day. And I walked in and it was a mini theater. And I was on a stage, and this is no lie. And all the mums of the children, it was an open class day. And they booked and they hired a special mini theater for all the mums to sit inside. And I was on the stage, no warning. And I just thought, what? I just have to do it. That was scary, especially as a 22-year-old at the time. So tip number one, you have to be adaptable and you have to realize people do things differently in different countries. But you know what? All those skills of suddenly thinking help me be creative in my lesson planning, help me not panic next time something suddenly happened. So these skills will help you as you go through life. Okay, number two, expert tip number 2. I have this philosophy, and I always have. Start with a smile, finish with a smile. Now, what does that mean? That means at the start of my classes, I have to make the students interested. And at the end of the class, I always want the students to go home happy. So any boring parts of my class, I try and put them in the middle. I need to engage at the beginning and I always want people to leave the classroom happy. Often I want my students, no matter the age, whether they are kindergarten, university aged, in their 70s, I want people to feel energized as they leave the classroom, because that's what they remember. So if you are having a terrible class, think like, oh, it's not gone well. We've all had these classes. But if you can just make those last 5 minutes, people often just remember how they felt when they left the classroom. And I've used that in my business over the years when I've done the educational part. Tried my best to make it engaging, but always tried to end with the students leaving with a smile on their face. I've had students fighting in the class, but I've solved those problems. They've left with a smile, no problem. And also, you have to engage at the beginning. Ask questions, get to know your students, which brings me on to top tip number 3, build connections. Building connections with your students is vital. It's so important. In the Korean context, what does that mean? Well, I've had students from, and I'm not lying again, from 2 years old wearing nappies, diapers, right? I've had students that young to students almost 80, right? So that's a vast range. And first of all, you have to build connections. Now, you might ask, how do you build connections with kindergarten age students, Bobby? Well, you act silly. you act at their level of a 4-year-old, of a 5-year-old. Often I've played like hide and seek, and this is to a big class of 20, and I get 4 students, and then I'm counting to 10. I'm making all the students count to 10. So you've got the English numbers coming out. And I'm like, okay, where are you? Then I ask all the class, and all the class are saying, where are you? And I can see the students. I'm looking at them. I can see them. I know where they are. But I'm just pretending I can't. Oh, where are you? Where are you? And you lift up chairs and you're pretending, oh, they're not under the chair. You lift up a book. Oh, you're not under the book. So that is how you build connections with kindergarten students. And then as the children get older, you have primary school age, and they're so fun. So you learn what songs they like. What are the toys that they're playing with these days? Then they're going through puberty, and they're a little bit moody and a little bit, I don't want to study. So you just take it a bit easier with them. Middle school age, love K-pop. So do I. Shh. So I find out, who do they like listening to? Let's talk about K-pop. Let's talk about their interests. Let's talk about their hobbies. Then you have university students, and then you find, where's your hometown? I've traveled all over Korea. We can build connections about hometowns, about food, about going out, about sports we all enjoy. So it's very easy. And when you build connections, people know you care about them, you're interested in them. And what does that do? When someone's interested in you, they will be prepared. They will be willing to study. Even if it's boring, they think, right, the teacher cares about me, built connections with me, and it just makes the classrooms and the classes go much easier. Okay, number 4. Don't hold grudges and empathize with students. Now, what does that mean? Okay, now, I love Lacoste. And when I was teaching this was about 2005, in a city named Ilsan, a student, I just bought a new Lacoste sweater, and a student, he was a naughty boy. I mean, I loved him, but he was naughty. His name was David. And he threw glue all over my new sweater that cost me, in British pounds, about 50 British pounds at the time. My sweater was ruined. And of course you don't feel good. It's my new sweater. I loved it. But the next day, when I saw him, you just have to remove that, take that away. That was just a bad action. He wasn't a bad kid. It was just a bad action that he did. So don't hold grudges. Forget, if something bad happens, move on. And I also said empathize. And this is something that I've realized as a younger teacher and a more experienced teacher, it's something different that I do. When I was a younger teacher, When students slept in my class, I always got angry. How dare they sleep in my class? How rude they are. I've kicked students out of my classroom for sleeping. And now my mindset is so different. And I think, okay, number one, you must be tired, especially for Korean students. If you come and teach in Korea, you must know, like in a language academy, these language academies are after school. So this means the students have had a full day of school. So it's hard. It's hard for students to engage, to be focused, because they're not robots. They're not machines. They're humans. Same at the university. Um, it's my classes are not their main priority at times. So I have to understand that. I have to understand students have their own lives. So if you empathize with that and say, oh, you must be tired today. Oh, I can understand that. How about we just don't do that today? And again, that makes students want to they appreciate that and make students want to engage more in your classes in the long run. So never take someone looking disinterested, falling asleep, especially if it's not a real habit, if it's just every now and then. Take it easy, relax, empathize, and your classes and your mindset and everything goes much, much smoother. And then the final one is prepare, prepare, prepare. I like to think I'm the most prepared teacher there is. Of course, I'm not. I just like to say that. So when you prepare, everything goes much smoother. Of course, you've got to be flexible again, so you don't have to be so rigid in your classes. You have to be flexible to not follow the lesson plan if your classes are going in different directions. But once you're prepared, it depends on the age, but people know if you're prepared or not. Um, if you have children, they will be bored in a bad way, very disengaged, disinterested. And that is the teacher's fault if you're not prepared. As you get older at university, if you're not prepared, it's obvious. Students can see if you've prepared for the class or if you haven't. So what I would say is the more you prepare, the better your classes go, the more confidence you get. The more confidence you get, the more competent you feel, and then the more you want to prepare because you are enjoying it. Okay, they are my top 5 expert tips. Any of them, did you enjoy any of them? If you did, please let me know. If you have any more questions about teaching abroad, please let me know. I would love to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate you. Annyeong.